Yeah, I stop and think about colour a lot. And the way I work with my work is that I'm always working with colour. So for instance, I've got on the floor all these swatches and I have work up around my studio all the time. And it's something I interplay with, and that could change daily, but normally something sticks in my mind and then I'll work with that. And then I'll work on a series of paintings at once. And each work evolves from each other, and then the colours change. So I'm always mixing and finding things. And, you know, I start with a canvas, a raw canvas or a sheet of aluminium, which I have, and then I obviously have to prime those. And they take time, because I like quite a smooth surface, so that can take 2 weeks to prime, sanding and priming. But also I have a process of colour sheets of paper on the floor and older work, lots of painted masking tape strips and bits of paraphernalia everywhere, which keep my mind working, ticking by whilst I'm making these blank white surfaces. Sort of work on the composition of what I want to do with that, how I want to break up the colour subtly. I draw that, those squares or lines. It's very easy, straight stuff, and then masking tape it out, and then I put the colour on, and then it goes from there really. Because this is like a bright, brilliant blue on top. But underneath there, we've got deep, sort of Prussian blues, maybe a red base actually. So it's layers and layers and layers. So it brings some sort of depth into that surface colour. I have hundreds and hundreds of jars in the studio dotted in boxes of all my colours that I've used, of paintings that I still have available, just in case they get marked or come back from galleries, or and need to remix something as well. So I do write down what I've used. They're very gregarious people, my grandparents, and it's always good fun. I used to go up there for breakfast with my dad every morning before I started to school. And I used to have breakfast like Marmite and cheese on toast with my granddad and stuff like that, and cups of tea and a good chat about the day before. And then my dad would go off to work at 10 in his studio and I'll go with him. And but of course all the work's there. And my granddad's studio was there, and I used to go and help him out now and again. And then my grandma would get me to do some gardening and stuff like that. And then of course I go home to my parents' house, and that's even more colourful, because my dad's got all his work slapped up everywhere. So back in 2008 I was resident at St Ives at Porthmeor Studios, and the residency was great because I got studio number 5, which was Ben Nicholson's old studio, and Patrick Heron's. And there was still Patrick Heron's writing on the wall about, can I have a pint of milk please, and this sort of stuff, writing to his wife when she comes into the studio, or reminders basically what he needs to get for lunch or dinner. In February 2009 I had a show at St Ives, so yeah, it's a really good career defining exhibition to have, and yeah, it was great and very busy. Also to be able to show in a space like that, it makes you think about your work in a different way and scale, and yeah, and brings you along as an artist, yeah.